Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining today. First of all, His Excellency Gopal Padle, High Commissioner of India.
Okay, we're starting the CPS.
And the dignitaries from the Indian High Commission.
Caesar is leading. I'm the secretary.
Honorable Dr. Suren Raghavan,
Everybody is leader.
the State Minister of Higher Education, Sri Lanka. Mr. Anura Disanayaka, Secretary to the Prime Minister, Sri Lanka. Then from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, Professor V. Kamakoti, Director, IIT. And also Professor Raghu Rengaswamy, Dean of Global Engagement, IIT. From SLTC, our Chairman, Mr. Ajitri Soisa, and our Founder, President, CEO, Engineer Ranjit Rupasinghe, the Council members, the dignitaries representing the industry, the government, and also, of course, the academia. So thank you very much. I warmly welcome all of you today for this very significant event today. SLTC Research University is one of the youngest universities in Sri Lanka. If you look at the history, it's about 7 years. But then during these 7 years, we have come a long way. And we have a vision to be one of the best universities, an innovative university that can serve the entire region. So that's our vision to the future. With that, I think this particular event is very significant for us because we are partnering with one of the most prestigious universities in the region and in the world, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. So I think in that respect, we take this as one of the most significant events in our journey to become a most innovative education institute in the region. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today for this very important event. First of all, I would like to welcome Professor Raghu Rengaswamy, the Dean of Global Engagement, IIT Madras, to give an opening remark on behalf of IIT. So, Professor Rengaswamy will join from...
Shall we start? Hello?
Professor Rengaswamy.
Dush. What is that name? Hello. Yeah, can we start, Dush? I think director has another selection committee meeting starting in 10 minutes.
Actually, I'm sorry, I'm abroad these days. So the physical event going in Colombo.
Yeah, so you are somewhere else, is it, Dush?
Yes, I came for
Ranjit? So, but I think the Colombo team might.
So we can go straight into the signing. So we start with the signing. So signing will happen in remote fashion. Engineer Ranjit Singh, the founder, president, and CEO will sign from this end, and Professor B. Kamakoti from IIT, he will sign from Madras. So that's how this will happen. So I would like to welcome Engineer Ranjit Singh, our CEO, to come to the front. And Professor Kamakoti, can you hear us? Yeah, you can sign as well. So we are signing the agreement now. Yes. Thank you, Professor Kamakoti.
Yes.
So I would
Thank you very much. So we have signed that here. So this is a signed document. Okay.
Excellent. So I would like to welcome Professor Kamakoti, Director IIT Madras, for your speech.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And this has been a very, very important development in our aim to have a maximal outreach. We are very happy to be part of Sri Lanka's educational activities. I'm sure this is a program where both the countries can benefit. The first program that we are planning to launch is on cyber physical systems. As we are moving towards Industry 4.0, the cyber physical systems become extremely important. And the job opportunities, the type of research that we need to do, the type of products that need to be developed, the type of research that the education that needs to be imparted, the type of skill that we need to develop, all these are extremely crucial at this point as we are moving towards a digital era. And I'm sure starting with the cyber physical system is a great way ahead. The government of India has announced and has implemented a national mission on cyber physical systems. And under this national mission on cyber physical systems, close to $500 million has been invested. We have 23 technology innovation hubs working on different aspects of cyber physical systems. And one of the important deliverable or important objective of the national mission is to actually have a lot more of international cooperation and collaboration. I think in that direction, from the government of India's perspective, this particular program is of very great significance. We are very happy to invite students from Sri Lanka to actively participate. And being a country with a lot of seashore around us, there is lot more of cyber physical systems, specifically in the maritime, that we can do. And that is also a very, we will have the largest sort of test bed in which we can experiment many things. I think that is also a very important aspect, both from India and Sri Lanka's perspective. Last but not the least, we have now the 5G rollout that has happened in our country. The Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated the 5G rollout a couple of weeks before. And 5G is going to play a very important role in cyber physical systems. And as we see in the curriculum, we have a very strong presence of both the next generation communication techniques and also the related security issues, because 5G is going to take electronics very close to the human lives. And so there will be a lot of privacy and other issues, which as countries, we need to work together to see that we come out with international standards of information exchange, and also protecting the privacy subject to the different regulations, the law of the lands. I think there are many, many things that are going to come up, and I'm very excited that IIT Madras is participating. I congratulate the team here. I have Raghu, Dean Global Engagement, Preeti, and Nirav, and the Office of our Global Engagement, who has put in this effort. And also thank equally SLTC for making first a visit here and also taking this program to a logical completion. We look forward to a very, very active collaboration between both institutions, leading to a lot of joint development and a lot of joint research work in the future. And we are very, very keen to increase our coupling to become much more stronger day by day. Thank you very much.
Professor Kamakoti, thank you very much. Now I would like to welcome Engineer Ranjit Rupasinghe, the founder, president, and CEO of SLTC Research University, to address the gathering.
Hi everyone. Good morning to both participants here and my good friends in India. His Excellency Gopal Bagle, High Commissioner, Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, and Dr. Suresh Raghavan, State Minister of Higher Education, Sri Lanka. And I have Deshamanya Aditya D'Souza, my chairman. We have his first secretary, the High Commission of India, Sri Lanka, Prakash. Shanura Disanayake, Secretary to the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. Mr. Lalit Veeratunga, former Secretary to the President. Professor SRB Rosa, Chairman, Atomic Energy Authority. Dr. Samita Hektige, Chairman, Sri Lanka Institute of Biotechnology. And we have representatives from industry, professional bodies, Chairman SLTC, and Chairman Computer Society of Sri Lanka. I also the CEO of PITIS. And most importantly, Professor Kamakota, the Director IITM, Professor Raghu, Dean of International IITM, and Professor Preeti, Advisor to the Global Academic Program of IITM. First of all, let me welcome you all very warmly for this event, and I'm extremely sorry for delaying it by say 5 to 10 minutes due to some technical reasons which are usually happening most of the time that we get in. I'm very sorry about it. First of all, there are two important individuals which I believe I should really thank. One is His Excellency the High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, and also his counterpart, Mr. Milinda Morogoda, Sri Lankan High Commissioner to India. I know myself and my chairman visited IITM, and we realized the importance of this partnership, and from there onwards, I think these two gentlemen did a wonderful job to bring this up to this level in their official capacity and even going beyond that. Let me take 1 minute to applaud to those two gentlemen for supporting for great initiative. Thank you so much, sir. And as we all know, this part of the world, most of the things will not happen without the proper support of the government. I think Dr. Raghavan, the first meeting that we had, it was very informative and thoughtful, and we had very good discussion about the Sri Lankan education and the way that we can bring IITM to support, to elevate it to a different level. So I think he in many different ways supported for this, and thank you so much for all the support extended. I usually talk about SLTC in my speeches as part of my job as the president and the CEO. I thought not to do that today because I have a very important gentleman to do that. He will be able to do it in a better way than I am doing that. He is none other than my council member and the secretary to the Honorable Prime Minister Sri Lanka, Mr. Anuradha Sanayaka. I hope he will talk a bit about SLTC during his speech, so I take the privilege not to disturb or take time to talk about SLTC. And I really appreciate you taking the invite positively and being part, accepting for a quick speech. This agreement actually, as Professor Kamakota very rightly explained, I think it's not an agreement between two institutions. It is an agreement between two countries. That is, I think, very important because we usually have academic partnerships running just to run a program here, either by paying some franchise fee or any other way. But that's the motive is merely to bring that program, deliver, and either to make money or at least to target a certain community or certain segment of the market. But what I see here today, this country needs a complete revolutionary in higher education. So we need a good example or with good people who can be followed by us. So I think this initiative is not only to bring this doctoral program and master's program and also BSc, but beyond that, the very good practices that they used to follow in IIT to be the best engineering university in all of India. And I think there are lot that we can learn from them apart from these 2 or 3 programs that we are talking about. So in that sense, I think this is a revolutionary step to modernize the Sri Lankan higher education system into a different way. Just to talk about the partnership, we have already started our PhD programs. We have 6 students already registered and selected by IITM. So they have started their work in background and we are planning to start this master's program in January, and we will start advertising it from now on. And we are planning to bring this bachelor's of data science and programming program in March 2023. And beyond that, of course, Professor Kamakota and the team in IITM is very happy to extend all the other programs as things are developing. And I think we discussed way beyond this because we want IITM or IITs to have their footprint here in Sri Lanka so that we can experience it rather than getting them as an example for us. So if we really can experience, that would be much better than just associating them. So I think we hope and we can, with the support of the Honorable Ministers and the government and with the support of His Excellency, the High Commissioner and the Indian government, we will definitely be able to bring this initiative to set up the IITM or IIT Sri Lanka in near future. So that's the aim, and That's not because of anything, to give a completely different perspective to Sri Lankan higher education. I'm very much critical about the system because all our universities are geared towards disseminating knowledge, which is not the fundamental, it should not be the fundamental objective of a university. The knowledge creation should be the basic objective of a university. I think British set up universities here having that objective, but later on we shifted from original motives towards a different segment. So we want to be research university, give primary focus for knowledge creation and dissemination to be the byproduct, so that there will be set of people coming out with right mindset, right innovative mindset, right entrepreneurial mindset, and also with right attitude to serve the world. So thank you so much everybody for supporting us to do that. I know with your support we will definitely be able to achieve or move to the completely different level. Thank you so much. But that's the motive is merely to bring that program, deliver, and either to make money or at least to target a certain community or certain segment of the market. But what I see here today, this country needs a complete revolutionary in higher education. So we need a good example or with good people who can be followed by us. So I think this initiative is not only to bring this doctoral program and master's program and also BSc, but beyond that, the very good practices that they used to follow in IIT to be the best engineering university in all of India. And I think there are lot that we can learn from them apart from these 2 or 3 programs that we are talking about. So in that sense, I think this is a revolutionary step to modernize the Sri Lankan higher education system into a different way. Just to talk about the partnership, we have already started our PhD programs. We have 6 students already registered and selected by IITM. So they have started their work in background and we are planning to start this master's program in January, and we will start advertising it from now on. And we are planning to bring this bachelor's of data science and programming program in March 2023. And beyond that, of course, Professor Kamakota and the team in IITM is very happy to extend all the other programs as things are developing. And I think we discussed way beyond this, because we want IITM or IITs to have their footprint here in Sri Lanka, so that we can experience it rather than getting them as an example for us. So if we really can experience, that would be much better than just associating them. So I think we hope and we can, with the support of the Honorable Ministers and the government, and with the support of His Excellency, the High Commissioner and the Indian government, we will definitely be able to bring this initiative to set up the IITM or IIT Sri Lanka in near future. So that's the aim, and that's not because of anything, to give a completely different perspective to Sri Lankan higher education. I'm very much critical about the system because all our universities are geared towards disseminating knowledge, which is not the fundamental, it should not be the fundamental objective of a university. The knowledge creation should be the basic objective of a university. I think British set up universities here having that objective, but later on we shifted from original motives towards a different segment. So we want to be research university, give primary focus for knowledge creation and dissemination to be the byproduct, so that there will be set of people coming out with right mindset, right innovative mindset, right entrepreneurial mindset, and also with right attitude to serve the world. So thank you so much everybody for supporting us to do that. I know with your support we will definitely be able to achieve or move to the completely different level. Thank you so much, Chairman, for guiding me and supporting me, and that will be a great support to achieve this noble objective. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Engineer Ranjit Prabhasinghe, Founder, President and CEO of SLTC Research University, for that very summarized version and summing up the importance of this event and of course the objectives of this agreement. So now I would like to call upon Mr. Anura Disanayake, Secretary to the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka and also a council member of SLTC Research University. Over to you, sir.
Ayubowan, namaste, good morning. State Higher Education Minister Dr. Suresh Ramadevan, His Excellency Gopal Bagre, the Ambassador for India and Sri Lanka, and Chairman of SLTC, Sajid Soisa, the founder chairman and vice chancellor Rup Singh, IIT director Mr. Kamakota, and the dean and the people who are joining from Madras, and the chairman of FITIS, the CEO of FITIS, the SLASCOM representation chairman, and then Damita Hettieva, Computer Society of Sri Lanka, and the Madam First Secretary of the Indian Embassy in Colombo. All are the dignitaries who are joining this very special occasion. My mind goes with the meeting with His Secretary Honorable Bagre, the ambassador, Indian ambassador in Sri Lanka, with my Prime Minister, follow-up discussion on the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Honorable Narendra Modi's plan to assist Sri Lanka to come to next level of IT industry, where he met my Prime Minister and he explained the way forward through developing partnership with IITs in India over the time. So I am thankful for the Government of India and especially to you, sir. Apart from helping us in meeting humanitarian and other day-to-day activities, you wisely launched two initiatives. One is to develop the potentials between South Asia's tourism sector. Rather than depending on conventional tourism products, you initiated and you started, and the first dialogue happened between two countries, and I see the momentum is developing, and with opening of Malali International Airport and the ferry services, and then this Buddhist trials, which comes from the ancient route from Lumbini towards ending in Sri Lanka, and all sorts of programs which enable us to compete in that market segment. Number two, you are supporting these long-term relationships, like taking our human resources to face today's human resource demand on global level. As Professor Kamakota mentioned, we are talking of blue economies, ocean economies, and we are being hub of South Asia. So these opportunities in building these capacities will certainly will result to overcome the challenges that we are facing. For that, let me once again thank the government of India. Talking of SLTC, it's only a 7-year-old infant institution if you talk about the 100 odd years of old university in Sri Lanka. I was fortunate enough to serve as the Secretary Education for some time, and I devoted my good 14 years of my civil service in the education sector. Subsequently, I became the Secretary for Ministry of Higher Education and Science and Technology, where I was fortunate to get involved with SLT's development, So when SLTC emerged and with 3-year-old closely worked with them, and with that little time, facing the pandemic and all the challenges, I observed the vision of that leadership. We are coming up with various new programs, projects, and I was able to get the policy support. And if not for SLTC's leadership, the blended learning process with online testing and all, the rest of the world dynamics would have been still a challenge. So we took the decisions, and then they started pioneering on that. Then other institutions followed up. Even I should say British Council and Cambridge and all others testing instruments followed after SLT's initiative. So and within very short period of time, they put their flagship as specializing in research. It became the research university in South Asia, and now SLT is taking another leapfrog initiative to join the IIT training facilities to Sri Lanka. We all know IIT's goodwill, and then the global position IIT plays across the globe. So rather than allowing some of our students to go overseas and becoming students in IIT, which is very unlikely when you consider the demand and supply of Indian markets, Indian government is so kind enough to develop these partnerships so that using our own capabilities, capacities, and at the convenience of students to joining these platforms and then becoming equally qualified world level knowledge workers. So this partnership, I'm sure it's the beginning of the long journey, as Honorable Barclay had briefed my Prime Minister. So eventually, let's hope that Sri Lanka will improve our knowledge base and to increase our share in the knowledge export economy, which I must thank SLASCOM and PTEs and Computer Society of Sri Lanka and all these dynamic investors who had invested. With shorter span of time, it created Sri Lanka's net highest return industry. When we talk about tourism, when we talk of export of commodities, apparel, and if you talk about the net return to the economy, you are in the highest pinnacle, ensuring whatever we earn, the net income is filtered into our national income. So your ambitious $5 billion roadmap by 2030 will certainly facilitate with these ventures that SLTC had begun. I'm sure I learned the Green University of Sri Lanka is also interested in developing partnership with one of the IITs in India, and similarly 17 dynamic emerging competitive private universities or the university degree awarding institutes will joined hand on various segments of this in the information communication knowledge spectrum. So with that, let me thank once again for the Government of India, especially to the Ambassador, Your Excellency Barclay, for your bold initiatives, in covering many aspects to restore our economy and to keep our long-term relations between two nations. These fundamental foundations that you put will definitely bring a prosperity to our country. And let me thank the SLTC, the founder chairman and vice chancellor, Mr. Pandit Rupasinghe, and then let me thank the chairman of the board, Mrs. Zoiza, for making a bold vision of entering into this, giving new life to this SLTC and inviting people like us and my mentor, my guru, my boss, Mr. Dalit Veerathun, the people like that caliber to be invited to the Council of Management and bringing all these able industrial leaders and entrepreneurs like Mr. Mangalayapa and all others, Professor Sosa. So this is it's professionally stimulating to join this meeting with this council meeting, So thank you for creating and making opportunity for us to inculcate the policy interventions. This is the only way, to be a policy maker. We have to engage in industry and we have to get the feeling, get the opportunities, and we have to understand the sense of private sector and these young people's aspirations, so that we will be able to help the government to formulate its policy. So this is a great platform for me to perform myself, and let me assure to the IIT Madras, you have joined one of the best and innovative universities to start your program. I am sure this partnership will bring mutual benefits in time to come. Thank you once again. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Amritsar Nayak, for highlighting this agreement, not just an agreement with two institutes, but also it's a national level significance as well. So next, I would like to welcome Honorable Dr. Suren Raghavan, the State Minister of Higher Education, Sri Lanka. Applause.
Thank you, His Excellency, the High Commissioner for India in Colombo, and Mr. Dalit Veerathun, the most senior state administrator in this country, I think, in this lobby right now, and Chairperson Ajita, and all the others who are online and in person gathered here. I want to take a few minutes only, because this is an era where politicians should shut up, listen to people, particularly people who are connecting the citizens and the state, that is the private sector. I think world again very clear. I am of course an accidental politician, so I can afford to say this. I am not looking forward for our next election, so I don't have to say popular things. But I will be true to my teachers and will tell what is necessary to put my motherland back on track. I want to take a little further than what Honorable my friend Secretary to Prime Minister said. True, this is not just mere between two companies. It could also be between two countries, but I would say this is between two civilizations. Because history shows us this is not the first contract we have had. Ramseda Samudra was built, at least according to Ramayana, with the knowledge of the Indians. Of course, they would have had expertise coming across all the way. But Sri Lankans should have and must have helped them to do that. So that's the collaboration the history talks about. Because I always believe, as I tell in Tamil, India or Nadalla, adu or Nagarigam. India is not a mere country, but it's deeply embedded civilization. So I'm glad that the private sector has taken initiatives as it should be. The state has no business to be in business. State must make policies and make sure the plannings are going according to what the mandate of the people, and let the private sector take over. Even in the area of technical education, as long as, Mr. Viruthambu, you will agree with me, we have sound policies and regulatory bodies and overseeing capacity, the state sector will perform well. And that's the engine of growth in any era, in any area. So I would not want to take much time. I want to wish you, may this be first step in a long journey. India had created many brand names. As a political scientist, the greatest brand name India produced was Buddha, which went across the world. Then India produced another brand name called Mahatma, that encompasses the whole political arena of modern world. Then of course came various other things, including Tata, Birla and other companies. But India has produced, as an academic also I must tell you, India had produced this absolute brand name, which is globally in par, called IIT. Thanks to those gurus and those students who brought that level of, from competition to now cooperation. MIT was trying to compete with IIT, but now they have realized it is better to cooperate with IIT than to compete with IIT. So that's across 24 kilometers from this land what we are talking. So to me, I would say, stand with the giants so that we can fly. Stand with Indian growth so that Sri Lanka can recover and Sri Lanka can be a partner in South Asian development. I wish you all the best, and I assure you all my support during my tenure as State Minister for Higher Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Dr. Suren Raghavan, for that very interesting speech connecting the two countries, the history that goes for thousands of years. So next I would like to warmly welcome His Excellency Mr. Gopal Bagle, the High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka. Over to you, sir.
Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of State for Higher Education, Dr. Surendra Raghavan, Honorable Secretary to the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, Anuraji, Honorable Your Excellency, Mr. Lalit Viratunga, former Secretary to the President, Chairman of SLTC, Mr. Ajit Zoesa, Engineer Ranjit Rubasinghe, the Founder President of SLTC Research University, Director of IIT Madras and Dean for Global Interaction, who were with us and perhaps are with us, the faculties, the academia of the two universities, their officials, the representatives of the industry over here. Ayubovan, Vanakkam, Namaskar, very good morning and greetings on the occasion of the festival of Deepavali, which, as you know, continues for 5 days. Today being the 4th day, Irina. I'm deeply grateful for this occasion today on a very special day, very important day. Deeply grateful for inviting me and my colleague, First Secretary Ms. Irina Thakur, to this important event of signing of the partnership agreement between SLTC and IIT Madras. I will come to the significance in a minute, but let me first of all thank SLTC for taking this initiative. Every important development in the history of mankind is the result of a thought. It's the result of a vision. It's the result of an idea. And I must compliment the leadership of SLTC for taking this initiative and the leadership of IIT Madras for responding and reciprocating and entering into a partnership which, in my view, is poised to take the cooperation between the two countries, not only in the education sector and industry, but in all the dimensions which flow from this cooperation to a very high level. I must thank the Honorable Minister of State for Higher Education who is present here. Also the Honorable Minister of Education with whom I had occasion to discuss this matter. But most importantly, the President of Sri Lanka, the Honorable President of Sri Lanka, and the Honorable Prime Minister, with whom when I broached this matter, I found nothing but complete constructiveness and positive response. And they said, please go ahead and discuss the cooperation and finalize. So I must thank the government of Sri Lanka and of course SLTC for taking this initiative. I congratulate both SLTC and IIT Madras on this agreement, and I convey the good wishes on my own behalf and on behalf of the High Commission. And I would also like to assure that we will not only try to support and facilitate such arrangements, but we will also like to take them to a level which is supported by the understanding between the two governments for building on the cooperation that you have started today and adding more dimensions to it, adding more and more faculties, aspects of education. Dr. Kamakoti mentioned cyber physics. Postgraduate programs is what you are beginning with. We would hope that in future the two governments will enable the formation of a framework based on mutual agreement which will enable the participation of the universities, whether public or private sector. Academic institutions of excellence. As you know, in India, we have the system whereby we classify institutes and national institutes of excellence or eminence or importance. And similarly, in Sri Lanka, we can find such institutes which are already established or, like was mentioned, 7 years of infant. That age does not matter. I am growing old, so I can say that. What matters is the intention, what matters is the experience, what matters is the motivation, the drive, the fire. Enough has been said about and enough is known about the brand of IIT, the brand value, the global leaders in industry, in business, in academia that these IITs have produced. They began modestly about 65 years ago. Initially IIT in Kharagpur, then 4 more were added, then over a course of the last few decades, now there are 23 of them. They are complemented not merely by other institutes or in the sphere of technology, but once the technology graduates pass out, they have an opportunity to remain in the technology streams or go into the business, take up jobs through campus recruitments or otherwise, go abroad, or indeed in fact go to the other brand, which is the IIMs in India. So there are a number of opportunities which these institutes have opened for India's youth. When I was sitting there, Honorable Deshmanya Ajit Dizoisa mentioned to me, and I am aware that 50 years ago and in the last 5 decades, he has brought maybe a business from India to Sri Lanka, established number of enterprises. This is not a business. This he called the icing on the cake. This is a work of passion. This is an enterprise of passion. This is an enterprise to create future. I see a lot of people in this room who have this passion. Passion for education, passion for empowering youth, because education empowers. Education helps us acquire what we need for achieving what we want to achieve. The motto of IIT Madras is Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja, which means you achieve through action. But not just any action. Action which is an empowered action. Sir, when you mentioned about your contribution to Sri Lanka and India-Sri Lanka relationships in a very wide sense, and you mentioned that this is the icing on the cake, if you permit me, I just recalled an incident which has remained with me for the last 30-35 years. I haven't spoken publicly about it because it's somewhat of a personal experience, but I would like to share it here. When I passed out, and I am a chemistry postgraduate, when I completed my post-graduation, like Irina did her engineering, and she must have started preparing for civil services, I don't know when. But when I started preparing for civil services, I wanted to meet my own expenses for books and studies and all that. So this was known. I was studying in Lucknow. So one day, a very fancy car, it was late 1990 or something, a very fancy car for those times came to my house, in front of my house, and an elderly gentleman arrived with a teenager, 16, 17-year-old boy, and said, "Are you Gopal Bagle?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "One of your teachers has referred me to you, and this is my son who is aspiring to get into IIT. So I said, "Sir, what can I do?" He said, "You have to teach him." I said, "But I don't do that. I just, help young boys and girls here or there, just enough for my pocket expenses." He said, "No, I've been told that you can teach chemistry in a way that no one can." And I said, I don't have any professional experience at all. Plus IIT is a different ball game. I myself have not ever taken that examination. I don't in fact even belong to the physics and maths stream. He said, "Look, I have come with a lot of hope. I leave this young boy with you. You see what you can do. He is good in everything else. You talk to him. You will find out his chemistry is weak. And if his chemistry is weak, I am sure he cannot get into IIT through the joint entrance exam." I spoke to the boy, I liked him. I said, "Okay, let me try." I said, "No assurances, no fees, I will just help this boy. Let me see." I did what I could. Months passed, he took the exam. There were no mobiles at that time. We didn't remain in touch. Couple of months followed. I was taking my civil services exam or preparing for the main exam after the preliminary. One fine day, the same car came again to my house. This gentleman arrived with the boy with a box of sweet and something, came in and said, "Thank you very much." I said, "Seems like there is good news." He said, "Yes, indeed, there is good news. This boy has got selected. Thank you very much. It couldn't have been done without you." I said, "Well, you are very kind, very generous, but I haven't done anything." This gentleman, sorry, he had tears in his eyes flowing down. He said, and I knew who he was, but he told me, "Look, in north of India, I am the biggest industrialist in my sector, by far. I'm the richest man in 7 generations of my family, and in the North India, in this sector, nobody can compete with me," and that was correct. He said, "But nobody in my family has had any education beyond grade 10 to 12. I wanted my boy to study, and it has become possible today. He is just 17, but today he is richer than me." And when you said that, what you said, sir, this incident I just happened to recall, it showed me the power at that time, 34 years ago, 32 years ago, what it means to impart quality education to the youth. This young boy of 17 years who could have easily inherited his father, he is the only son, could have easily inherited the wealth and the industry of his father, but his father chose him to go in a different direction, which would just not create wealth, but will empower him for the future. So today's initiative is one such effort, and therefore it deserves all the support. It merits all the facilitation that we can, and as I mentioned, we will try and do whatever we can from our side. As you know, it is the priority of Government of India to support Sri Lanka, to support the people of Sri Lanka. I have just come back from India after a stay of a few weeks. We would like very much to continue this cooperation and take it to higher levels in the field of higher education also. As you would be aware, we are offering, Government of India is offering 700 scholarships per year for study to Sri Lankan students for studying at undergraduate, postgraduate, doctoral levels. This particular dimension of our cooperation, I am sure, will add to this cooperation and will also add to the creation of rich human capital in Sri Lanka. But most important, it will continue the tradition of close civilizational connect between the two countries. Our two countries, our two civilizations have grown through mutual interaction, through mutual exchange, which has included education. Education both in formal sense and informal sense, through monasteries, through universities like Nalanda, through educational institutions, through the Guru Shishya Parampara, the teacher and the disciple tradition. Today, IIT is not merely an institute of technology, it is also an incubator of entrepreneurs. It also offers mentorship. This is how we are trying to come close to living the old tradition that we have all been familiar with, the teacher-disciple tradition. I would suggest and I would request that let us make use of this opportunity, not only provided to us by this cooperation, but the possibility of mentorship and incubation. Thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity today to come and be present at this important occasion. And I would only wish that the light which we have, the lamps that we have lit yesterday on Deepavali. By the way, on Deepavali, as you all know, we worship, in India we worship the goddess of wealth, but even, which is Lakshmi. But even before we worship the goddess of wealth, we worship Vinayaka, Ganesh, who signifies wisdom. So we wish to invite wisdom before we invoke wealth, because it's through wisdom that we can direct the wealth of experience, the wealth of education, the wealth in every sense of the word, to its best and optimal use. I wish you all the best. I wish this cooperation to grow, and on behalf of myself and my High Commission, we stand ready to offer any support that we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Mr. Gopal Bagle, for highlighting the value of education, value of quality education, and in this point of time, the world-class education as a great equalizer and as well as a tool for empowerment of youth. So I think that's what we are here for. So with IIT, this agreement, we are empowering Sri Lankan youth to get the best of the best education in the world. So thank you very much. So we wanted to have a very short event like this. So just to summarize, there is a lot of people behind this initiative. So to thank everyone, I would like to call upon Dr. Nanda Gunawardana, Director, International Affairs, SLTC Research University. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you all. As the Director of International Affairs Office in Sri Lanka, SLTC Research University, I feel greatly honored to do the vote of thanks on this special occasion. First, I would like to thank His Excellency Gopal Bagle, High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, raising this occasion. Thank you very much, sir. And also I would like to thank Dr. Suren Raghavan, State Minister of Higher Education, Sri Lanka. This is busy schedule. Thank you very much for joining with us today. We have Mr. Amra Disanayake, Secretary to the Prime Minister Sri Lanka, and also our council member, providing valuable advices to us always. Thank you very much, sir, joining with us today. And also Mr. Lalit Veeratunga, former Secretary to the President, and also our council member. Thank you very much, sir. And also I would like to thank our Chairman, Deshamanya Adadi Soisa, always giving targets to us to achieve many goals. Thank you very much, sir, joining with us today. And also we have a lot of council members and members of the director boards. So thank you very much for joining with us today. I would like to thank two very special persons. Without them, I think we cannot achieve anything to develop this kind of MOU and agreement within a very short period of time. First of all, I would like to thank Professor V. Kamakoti, Director of IIT Madras, and guiding us and also giving fullest support to do this agreement within a very short period of time. Thank you very much, Professor Kamakoti. And also from SLTC side, our visionary leader, Engineer Ranjit Dirupasinghe, actually pushing us to sign this MOU and talk to all IIT staff members to get this done. So thank you very much, sir. And also we have another key persons I have to remember in this very special occasion. First, Professor Raghu Rangeswamy, Dean of the Global Engagement, IIT Madras, and also our good friend Preeti. Thank you so much for arranging all this tough stuff from IIT Madras within a very short period of time. And also from SLTC side, Professor Dush Jayakodi, Director of Research, Postgraduate and Impact, working with IIT Madras team to develop this agreement. And also we have very distinguished audience today. SLTC Research University work very closely with a lot of industries, especially IT industries. So there are top key officials came here to witness this occasion. So on behalf of SLTC Research University, I would like to thank you very much. Thank you all for gracing this occasion. So I am not going to take much of your time, and I take this opportunity to thank all the directors, school heads, faculty heads, and all other stakeholders helping us to develop this MOU. And also, as many speakers mentioned, I think this is a national event, collaborating, this is not a kind of collaborating SLTC with IIT Madras. This is collaboration of Sri Lanka and India. So once again, thank you very much for all of you to help us to develop this MOU, and I am pretty sure that we can develop the target that we have, that we thought in our minds within a short period of time. Thank you very much.